Greetings, everyone, and a very warm welcome to a special edition of Marketing the Invisible. I'm Tom Pollard, beaming out true from ever, as always, from the sunny Sunshine Coast here in Australia. Joined today by Anthony Raymond. Anthony, a warm g'day from down under, sir. Where are you hanging out?
I'm up here in my beautiful home office in beautiful Pennsylvania in the United States.
The most dapper man in the whole of the USA, folks. Every time I've met with Anthony, this is well, I should say every time, we met twice. He has his own tailor. He's a part of a dying breed. He has integrity, he has ethics, and my God, has he got the suits.
I try.
It's a
Thank
pleasure
you
to
very
have you
much.
here, Anthony. Folks, Anthony and I was referred to Anthony because I was looking for a publisher for my next book. And I was introduced to Anthony. It was a prestige introduction from someone whose opinion I value highly. So we're going to be doing a project together for my next book, and I'm looking forward to that, Anthony. And I thought, why not get Anthony on the show? Because he doesn't, talking about tailors, he's not cut from the same cloth as a lot of traditional marketers. He's got this, to me, Anthony, you're a hybrid. You've got this fascinating, I don't know how to describe it. You've got some Street Fighter in you.
Oh, absolutely.
You're,
I've been
you're kind
told.
of like someone once described, someone had they was so clear and about their mission in life and assertive, but just a pleasure to deal with, kind of like the Iron Fist with the velvet glove.
At times, sure.
So I think you, because in converse, and I think this is important background for you. I'm not just not stroking Anthony's ego here. But what I'm saying is Anthony understands the guerrilla marketing type approach, but he's also
Mhm.
got a very strategic head on him to understand what's going to sell and what's not going to sell. And following on from that, how you actually sell your book. And more importantly, what the back end is, because one of the first questions Anthony asked me is, sure, we can probably sell your book, but how are you going to make more money out of it with a back end product? So the back end product is people read your book, they're impressed with your credentials and your story and everything else. Another good tip Anthony gave is start with a story, but we'll unpack more of that hopefully. But what are you going to sell from the book? Because that's where you can make exponentially more money. So that's the reason you're here, Anthony. Everyone, I wanted you to know that's why Anthony is here. So let's kick off. Anthony Raymond is the publisher of Complexities Publishing Inc., and that's his bio. I told you he was elegant. The title is How to Win with Your Book. Anthony, our 7 minutes is going to start now. Who's your ideal client?
My ideal client is ideally a speaker or a business person, even a writer, and they have an idea or something they want to market, whether it be themselves or a product, or again, anything, a service. And so,
Okay.
my,
So
my
tell
idea,
us A to Z. What does your service encompass?
my service, I'm a publisher.
Right.
And so I publish books. And what I found is that books are the best business card a business person or a speaker can have. Because as the old joke goes, they give that person authority, they give them authority. And it's just a great marketing platform. Because if you go with a press release to the paper, boom, I'm an author. I have this book coming up. You're getting noticed. You're getting news notice. You're getting interview requests. And so the power of the book, I call it, is a key to markets and marketing avenues that you never even thought about.
And I think that's a big distinction between someone like Complexities Publishing and a normal publishing house. So most publishers um, don't give you a lot of advice in regard to marketing and the mechanics and the back end and everything else. It's just there's a book, put in the shops and sell it. So it's a different style of book, folks, is what I'm saying. We might all dream of being, published by Penguin, etc. But there's a pretty good chance you're going to make more money with Anthony's approach. So tell us about the problem you solve.
For myself is I take that idea or that book that person has written and give it a place to go. We dress it up, we make it look pretty, we make it sure it's edited properly.
Right.
And even beyond that, as you mentioned, we look at it and say, what are you, the business person, the writer, the speaker, what are you really trying to accomplish? What are you looking to sell? Where are you going with the book? I have no problem with an author or person plugging all their businesses in the book and looking and saying, okay, after this I want to sell a course, and then I want to sell a coaching
Right.
program.
Right.
that has to be included in the book. And believe me, that's where you're going to make the most money.
Yeah.
Because the sad truth of the matter is very few people get rich off of books, but they get rich from their speaking engagements, from their licensing deals, and from the courses and everything.
But yeah, tick, 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 but you got to do it right.
But you have to do it right.
A bunch of people try to do this on their own, don't get the formula, don't get the recipe right. And that's just the reality of it. It's, when I work with someone like you, the book goes to a different level. That's what happens. It's better thought out because I'm not a book marketing specialist, and so we're always better to defer to the specialists in these areas. One of the secrets of success is that you don't actually have to be very smart about anything. You just have to be smart enough to know how dumb you are and get help.
That's absolutely true.
So tell us, question 3, and I better skedaddle because the clock is ticking. Question 3 is the typical symptoms that people experience who don't have a book, or maybe the people who have published a book but hear crickets. What would you say is going on? Give us a heads up, I guess. The question is this: what's going on in someone's life that they know they should be reaching out to you?
Feeling overwhelmed, looking at all the publishing options from the traditional publishing experience to self-publishing, and not understanding would be best for them.
Right.
And I'm saying that those are going to be the 2 big ones, for brevity's sake, because that overwhelmed feeling and just not understing how publishing works.
Yeah.
And
so
all the options that are there.
Everything's a bit complicated.
Black box.
Yeah. Okay. And I think folks, if context is so important when you're looking at execution of a tactic, such as writing a book, and context is that strategic overview of what's going to have to happen from A to Z, because that context gives you a point of reference for what to do with the book.
Exactly.
And I know that's a bit high level, those wording, but maybe rewind and listen to that again. What would you say is a big mistake that people make when they do their own book?
2 things. One, trying to do everything by him or herself. That's a big one.
Yeah.
And number 2 is what I call kitchen sinking a book. That means they want to include everything, including the kitchen sink, every thought they've ever had, every idea they've ever had, into this big tome of a book.
Right.
And what happens there is they, like I said, they just have this very disorganized book. And that's where I come in as a publisher and an editor and say, listen, you might have 5 different books here that's actually happened. And because you have these 5 great little books that are going to be a lot of hooks in the water for this person. So they're going to be making a lot of different sales and leading to a lot of different paths. So a lot of different money.
Yeah. That's very interesting. And there's that old saying, kill your darlings, right? You can pack something, a whole lot of stuff in a book you think is just so wonderful, and yet it may not be on song. It may not be to the point. Let's one valuable a top tip. People don't need you for this, but it might, and they'll need you to do this properly, but it might give them a step in the right direction.
Actually, they won't. I'm going to say this: share your work. If you've written something, share it. And there's going to be a sort of a part 2 to that. Listen to qualified feedback.
Qualified.
A lot of people don't want to share their work because they think, well, I might want to sell them the book later on. It's like, no, you want that initial feedback. You want to see if you're actually hitting your market.
Right.
Share it, get it out there, get that feedback, and make sure you're addressing people's questions and concerns, and especially for the topic on which the person is writing.
Yeah, and best of all, find someone who's qualified to comment on it in terms of they are the target market, but make sure that you get a couple of grumpy ones, because they're the ones that tell you what you need to hear.
Going to help them.
Yeah, because your mother's going to tell you what you want to hear, maybe, but they'll tell you what you need to know.
Exactly.
Okay, so where can people go to find out more? What's your website where they can make an inquiry or find out more information?
Absolutely. readkp.com. READKP.com.
Say it again, please.
READKP.com. ReadKP.
ReadKP.com. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What are they going to find there?
That's going to be my main website. We reached the end. So that's going to be my main website. But I have a lot of articles about writing and publishing. So you'll be able to. There's a lot of free stuff there. including book, my newsletter and everything.
Fantastic. Readkp.com. And finally, last question. What's one question I should have asked you but didn't?
What's the difference between a writer and an author?
Oh, and what is the difference between a writer and an author?
A writer is someone who actually writes all the time and more than likely makes their living from it in one form or another.
Right.
An author is anyone. Anyone can be an author. Paris Hilton is an author of books. Snooki from, remember that Jersey Shore show?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
Yeah. She is a best-selling author.
Versus
But I would never call her. Yeah, anyone could be the author of a book, but very few people are writers. And to win at, have a best-selling book, you do not have to be a writer.
That is a breath of fresh air for a lot of people because I know a lot of people get freaked out when they have to put something down and write it. It suddenly gets very formal, and it's kind of like those. It's the equivalent of those voicemail messages you hear where you've got a good friend and they're very relaxed and they're very breezy and they're very bright, and you get their voice message and it's like, "Hello, this is what happened? What happened to my friend?"
Very true.
Some people write like that. It's like suddenly they're not them. So that is a terrific insight. You don't have to be a writer to be an author. All right, this has been great. Anthony, thanks so much for your time and your insights and wisdom. It's www.readkp for Key and Peel, I'll say, .com. Thanks,
Absolutely.
Anthony.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you.
Thanks for checking out our Marketing the Invisible podcast. If you like what we're doing here, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review. It's very much appreciated. And if you want to generate 5 fresh leads in just 5 hours, then check out www.5hourchallenge.com.